David, when you're touring the world, you get a pretty good view of a lot of people, a lot of different cultures, and uh, you know, it really opens your eyes to the everybody that's out there and the people that love music and the crossing over all these different lines and places that you would have never gone if you hadn't been doing what you're doing. And you start seeing the heart in all these people all over the world and the pleasure that music and entertainment gives everybody. You know, what are your thoughts about the world and touring? And I know even with the Beatles, they stopped in places that were a little different, you know, on some of their world touring, but being known all over the world and having that draw from a lot of different populations that may not have the same freedom that we have. It's got to be pretty powerful. Can you think of a moment when you were in front of an audience that it was just incredible they were actually there and allowed to be there? Or
well, I think it's hard to single one out, but you know, we were on tour in '95 with it was '95 with Billy Joel and we were in the big earthquake that was there. We were in Osaka. The epicenter was in Kobe, which wasn't very, I think it was Kobe or wasn't very far away. We were like 25 miles. It was pretty bad. And we all got pretty shaken up, no pun intended. But what was fascinating is when we postponed the shows by a week because it you know, everything was, you know, stopped functioning. Society wasn't able to function.
You guys postponed, that was serious.
Yeah.
Because
but when we did do the show like a week later, you know, a lot of the people weren't able to get there and the show had been sold out. And then you look out in the audience and you see empty seats and you go, well, I wonder what happened to that person and you know, what's their story? And it's just such a, so it's great to be able to use music as a way to connect to people because it transcends language. No matter where you're playing, it's a way of communicating, and it's sort of a world language that's you know, it really speaks.
You know, and the other thing, and while you're saying this, I'm thinking about my times when I toured in Japan too, and you got attached to people that were wonderful, beautiful people that you kind of miss, or at least I miss going over there every year on tour. And when the most recent stuff happened, I was like, gee, I wonder if some of those friends of mine were in the middle of that. And of course, over the years, for me anyway, I wouldn't have contact, but these people's faces come to mind, and you're like, man, this is a very, it hurts to think of those.
What they had to go through,
You know, when you were over there probably with Rainbow or whoever, right, in the early days, the audiences were a whole lot more tame there, and it was such a different culture.
I'm talking about Japan.
And there are a lot of places in the world I could think of that would be beautiful, and but that's one of them that I always
that's the fascinating thing, is to see the different cultures. One of the things that blew me away the first time I went to Japan was that the audience was so, like you said, tame. And we come out on stage and they don't.
You thought you weren't going down well, did you?
There's no sound. You could hear a pin drop. And if you think about it, it makes sense because you haven't done anything yet. But you play the first song and then they go crazy. They love it. And then they stop because they don't want to miss a word that you say. It's just a very different thing than it is here, but it's their way of appreciating it, and it's no better or worse. It's just different. It's great.
I love that stuff. I guess it may be a little different now, but I know some of the first years I'll date myself, in the 70s, the band would turn to each other and say, what's the matter? You know, we're not going down at all.
But they're loving it. They're just not responding the same way.
Yeah, well, I hope that, you know, but your heart does go out to people that, you were in that earthquake. I was in an earthquake or two over there. I guess whenever you go over there, you're in one.
Right, but we were in the big one. I said Kobe. It was actually Kyoto, I think, is where the epicenter was. But I don't know, like 6,000 people
it had
died
a tidal wave or something connected to it? Or?
No, I don't think they had that with that one because it was fairly inland, so
Yeah.
it's nothing like what
Yeah,
they're experiencing
right.
now, which is just dreadful.
I know in
horrible.
Osaka, I was in one in the building kind of, and I was on a tour with a bunch of Germans, a bunch of different crew members. They all booking flights home the next day, but nobody even talked about this. The Japanese were like, whatever, it was nothing.
Yeah.